My journey through anxiety, a story of struggle and recovery. It all began back in 2019. Life was smooth, almost picture perfect. I was one of those people who always stayed on the move, a sportsman, athletic, always in good shape. Sure, like everyone else, I had my share of everyday stress, a late night project, an argument here and there, the occasional worry about the future, but nothing major, nothing that could shake me, or so I thought. Then came February 18th, 2019, a date that will forever be etched in my memory. That morning, I woke up feeling different. My body wasn't responding the way it normally did. It felt unusually warm, drained, as if someone had sucked the energy right out of me overnight. I remember grabbing the thermometer again and again, checking if I had a fever, but every time, the reading was normal. No fever, no obvious illness, just this strange, heavy feeling in my body. At first, I brushed it off. Maybe it's just exhaustion. Maybe a good night's sleep will fix it. That's what I told myself. But deep inside, something didn't feel right. Later that day, I pushed myself to go to the ground, to play, like I always did. I spent about 2, maybe 3 hours out there. On the outside, it looked like a regular day, but on the inside, something was shifting. It was as if a dark, invisible cloud was hanging over me. Not sadness, not simple fatigue, but this deep, gut-wrenching sense that something terrible was about to happen. Still, I ignored it. I kept moving, hoping it would fade away. That evening, we had a party at a friend's house just a mile away. My older brother and I were supposed to go together, but by then, I was feeling so uneasy that I told him, "I don't think I can make it. You go ahead without me." He looked at me and said, "Come on, it'll be fun. We won't stay long. Just a little while." And so, against my better judgment, I went. The first panic attack. At first, everything seemed fine. People were laughing, music was playing, the vibe was good. I remember standing there trying to convince myself that I was okay. But then, it hit me. My vision blurred. The room didn't feel stable anymore. Suddenly, this overwhelming wave of fear washed over me. A kind of fear I had never felt before. My heart began to pound so hard I could feel it in my throat. I turned to my brother and whispered, "Something's not right. I don't feel good at all." He thought maybe I was just hungry or tired. He said, "Let's sit down, grab a plate of food. You'll feel better." But the moment I sat at that table, everything got worse. My chest tightened, sweat poured down my face, my heart raced uncontrollably. And then came the thought, the most terrifying thought I had ever had in my life. I'm dying. This is it. I'm about to die. Panic took over. My body wasn't mine anymore. I couldn't think, couldn't breathe properly. Without saying a word, I bolted from the house. I ran, legs trembling, breath shallow, heart exploding in my chest. Fear consumed every inch of me. When I finally stumbled back home, my mother saw me and froze. The panic in her eyes mirrored mine. She rushed me to our family doctor. My heart rate, 155 beats per minute. My blood pressure, sky high. The doctor looked at me and asked, "Are you under stress?" I shook my head. "A little, but nothing major." He nodded calmly, handed me a prescription, and said, "It's probably just stress. Don't worry too much. Take these, antacids and multivitamins. You'll be fine." But I knew in that moment, deep in my gut, that this wasn't just stress. This was something else, something darker. Doctor visits and realization. That night after the party, I couldn't close my eyes. Sleep just wouldn't come. My body was still trembling, my mind racing. Every time I tried to relax, a surge of fear jolted me awake. I lay there in the dark, convinced that something inside me was failing. By the next morning, I broke down completely. I remember walking up to my mom, tears streaming down my face and saying, "Please, take me to another doctor. Something's wrong. I think I'm dying." Seeing me like that broke her. She started crying too. In that moment, I wasn't just her son anymore. I was a patient she didn't know how to save. She rushed me to another doctor, hoping this time we'd finally get answers. Blood tests, scans, checkups, everything came back normal. Perfectly fine, they said. But I didn't feel fine. I felt like my body was collapsing from the inside out. The new doctor looked at the reports, shook his head and said, "There's nothing serious here. Try to reduce your stress. Take these sleeping pills for a month and you'll be okay." That night before swallowing the pill, I made the mistake of Googling it. And that's when the truth hit me like a brick wall. The screen read, "This medication is used to treat anxiety and depression." I froze. Anxiety? Depression? I had never even considered that possibility. Up until that moment, I thought I was battling some hidden disease that no one could find. But here it was, in plain black and white: anxiety disorder. The endless cycle of fear. From that day forward, my life spiraled into a cycle of fear. I started researching anxiety symptoms, and with every website I opened, the fear only got worse. I remember reading through the list: fear of heart attacks, dizziness like I was walking on a boat, weakness in my legs, sharp chest pains, sleepless nights, nightmares that jolted me awake. And every single line felt like it was describing me. But instead of reassurance, Google gave me nightmares. Every search ended with terrifying possibilities: heart disease, brain tumor, stroke, something deadly. I became obsessed with finding the real problem, convinced that all these doctors were missing something. Over the next 6 months, I visited more than 35 doctors, general physicians, specialists, cardiologists, neurologists. You name it, I saw them. I did over 15 different tests: blood work, MRIs, CT scans, heart monitoring. Each time the results came back the same: normal. But to me, normal felt like a lie. Every time a doctor told me I was fine, my mind screamed back, "No, you're not. You're dying and they just don't see it." I was trapped in a loop, running from one clinic to another, from one test to the next, chasing answers that didn't exist. And all the while, the fear grew louder, the panic more intense. It wasn't just physical anymore. It was emotional, spiritual. I started to believe my life would never go back to what it was: the struggle with medications. After months of chasing doctors, I finally ended up in front of psychiatrists. 3 of them, to be exact. And all 3 gave me the same diagnosis: severe anxiety disorder. Their solution? Pills, antidepressants during the day, sleeping pills at night. At first, I didn't argue. I was desperate for relief. The sleeping pills helped me drift off. And for the first time in weeks, I could close my eyes without my heart exploding out of my chest. But here's the truth no one tells you. Pills can make you sleep, but they don't make you live. The mornings still felt the same. I'd wake up dizzy, weak, terrified. The panic attacks didn't magically disappear. And the antidepressants? They carried their own side effects. My emotions felt flat, my energy dull, and worst of all, they started to mess with my personal life, even affecting my libido. That one hit me hard. It wasn't just my mind anymore. It was my identity, my sense of being a man. One night, scrolling through forums online, I read about people who had been taking these same medications for 8, even 10 years, and they were still struggling, still dependent, still waiting for the cure that never came. That scared me more than the panic itself. I remember staring at those pill bottles on my bedside table and thinking, is this my future? Is this what the rest of my life looks like? Drugged, dependent, but never really free? And in that moment, I made a choice. I didn't want to just manage anxiety. I wanted to beat it, truly, completely, from the inside out. No pills, no dependency. Just me, learning how to take my life back. The path to recovery. The first step? Acceptance. And let me tell you, acceptance isn't easy. It took me over a month just to admit to myself that what I was facing wasn't a hidden disease or some undetectable condition. It was anxiety, pure, raw anxiety. Nothing more, nothing less. And once I accepted that truth, the grip of fear started to loosen. I stopped Googling my symptoms. I can't tell you how big of a change that one step made. Instead of typing into a search bar, I started writing into a journal. Every symptom, every strange feeling, I wrote it down. And then I forced myself to analyze it logically, not emotionally. Around this time, my aunt, a neurosurgeon, happened to be home on maternity leave. I can honestly say she was a turning point in my story. She sat with me, explained my symptoms scientifically, and showed me how anxiety could mimic so many different physical conditions. Her words gave me something I hadn't felt in months: reassurance. From there, I began to rebuild, slowly, patiently. Diet. I shifted toward natural foods. I added herbs like Withania somnifera and water hyssop, natural support for the nervous system. Instead of fried snacks and heavy meals, I focused on balance. Yoga and breathing. Every morning I practiced controlled breathing. At first I could barely sit still, but day by day my breath became my anchor. Meditation. I tried different techniques: mindfulness, visualization, even simple body scans. Each one gave me a little more peace. Exposure therapy. The outside world had become a trigger for me, so I started small: a walk to the gate, then to the corner store, then around the block. Little by little, step by step, I reclaimed my freedom. Vitamins and supplements. I gave my body what it had been craving: proper nutrition. Over time, my strength began to return. I didn't just try these things randomly. I created 6 different 30-day lifestyle plans, each tailored to the symptoms I was battling. For 6 months straight, I stuck with them. No shortcuts, no quitting. And slowly, something shifted. The panic attacks became less frequent. The dizziness faded. The fear lost its grip. For the first time in nearly 2 years, I felt like myself again. The breakthrough. By January of 2021, something incredible happened. I realized one morning that I had gone several weeks without a single panic attack. No more chest pains. No more dizziness that made me grip the wall. No more waking up in the middle of the night convinced I was about to die. For the first time in almost 2 years, I felt free. Truly free. It wasn't like a switch had flipped overnight. No, it was gradual, steady, almost invisible at first. But when I look back, I could see it clearly. Day after day, choice after choice, practice after practice, I had rebuilt myself. By that January, I could say it with confidence: I was anxiety-free. And here's the best part: I did it without medications. No more dependency, no more bottles stacked by my bedside. Just me, my body, my mind, and the tools I had learned to use. Now it's been more than 4 years. 4 years of living normally, happily, peacefully. 4 years without panic attacks, without that constant fear whispering in the back of my mind. When I look back at those dark days, I don't just feel relief. I feel proud. Proud that I fought something that traps millions of people for decades, and I came out on the other side stronger than ever. My message to you. And that's why I started this channel. Because I know how it feels to be stuck in that endless loop of fear, panic, and confusion. I know what it's like to run from doctor to doctor, desperate for an answer. I know what it's like to type your symptoms into Google at 3 a.m. and scare yourself into believing you won't see tomorrow. But I also know this: recovery is possible. If you're watching this and my story resonates with you, remember, I'm not special. I didn't have superhuman strength or unlimited resources. I had fear, tears, sleepless nights, and a family that cried with me. What changed my life wasn't magic. It was persistence. It was small steps. It was believing, even when my mind screamed otherwise, that I could get better. In the videos ahead, I'll be sharing everything I learned: the symptoms I experienced and how I overcame them, the anxiety-reducing techniques that actually worked for me, and little-known facts about anxiety that most people, even on YouTube, never talk about. If my journey tells you anything, let it be this: you can overcome anxiety too. No matter how heavy the weight feels right now, no matter how endless the nights seem, no matter how convincing those dark thoughts are, anxiety does not define you. Stay strong, stay hopeful,